Somebody was in her seat. All right, inverse trig functions. So these ones, remember, I'm just going to throw it up here like this really fast. We've got sine and tangent are from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. So it's not like 5 pi over 3, okay? It would be minus pi over 3. Okay, that's how that would work. And then cosine is from 0 to pi on the top. So looking at some problems, the inverse sine of negative 1/2. So we're looking for, on the unit circle, where is sine negative 1/2 on the right-hand side? So basically we can cover up the left side, we don't care about it. So we need a y value of negative 1/2. Where does that occur? Yeah, okay, it occurs at 11 pi over 6, but because of our rules, it would be negative pi over 6. That was something I could tell Algebra 2 did not get, because on the quiz, I think every single person missed it the other day. So we'll find out on the test if they corrected it. All right, inverse cosine of 1. So I'm looking for where cosine is 1. So where does that happen? 0. Inverse tangent of 1. So I'm looking for where tangent is 1. And I care about it on the right side. Pi over 4. Inverse cosine of negative root 3 over 2. So cosine is negative root 3 over 2 where?
5 pi over 6.
Yep, 5 pi over 6. Is this stuff ringing a bell? Y'all remember doing this?
I just don't remember why it was, like, I was always confused about why it said the, like, inverse of the sign, even though it's really, we're just finding the...
Because you're doing the opposite. So, like, if I said sine of 5 pi over, or cosine of 5 pi over 6, you would tell me that's equal to negative root 3 over 2. So it's the opposite of.
Okay.
So they're giving you the value, you're finding the angle. The other ones, they're giving you the angle, you're finding the value.
Okay. Got it.
And this lends itself more to when we actually start solving trig equations. Not so much exactly what we're doing now. This is like a jump step, I don't know, like a building block, I guess.
Skipping a hop.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Jump, skip, and a hop. Just complete the right opposite.
All right, inverse tangent of negative root 3. So where is tangent negative root 3?
Negative 2 pi over 3.
Yep. No.
Just
Negative pi over 3.
That.
It's down here. So, and remember, we're down here. We need to treat these as negative pi over 6, negative pi over 4, negative pi over 3, and negative pi over 2. So for inverse, that's what we need to think about, is that these are negative down here. For both sine and tangent. So that way, hopefully that will help some.
My subtracting wasn't.
I could tell.
So we're just going on the unit circle. It's like it's just starting on the other side.
So basically for sine and cosine, or sine and tangent, sorry, we disregard everything over here. For cosine, we disregard everything down here.
Okay.
But for, so like we have, you know, up here, these are normal. Pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. And then down here, we need to think about this as minus pi over 6, minus pi over 4, minus pi over 3, minus pi over 2. Like, those should be the only values that we're giving when we do inverse.
Okay.
Inverse can't produce 5 pi over 6. Or, like, sorry, like 5 pi over 3.
Okay.
I was looking at the 5 pi over 6 and said it. like the inverse tangent can't produce 5 pi over 3.
Yeah.
But it can produce negative pi over 3.
Oh.
And then we would just know, obviously, that that's equivalent to 5 pi over 3 if we were solving something, but. All right, one more of these. Inverse sine of 1. So where's sine 1? Pi over 2. All right, the following problems are with a calculator. The first ones are going to be in degree mode. The second ones are in radian mode. More than likely for like quiz or test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to state the answer in degrees and radians rather than just do this one in degrees, just do this one in radians. Like, I'm not going to do 2 separate 10-point problems for that, basically. Like, that's crazy. So, but we'll just do degrees for the ones that say degrees and radians for the ones that say radians. So, 14, they write it as arc sine, which, remember, that means the exact same thing as the sine to the negative 1. Inverse sine means the exact same thing. Now, if you go to college and you have a math professor, they're going to tell you that they mean something different, and I guess technically they're right, but for our purpose, they mean the exact same thing.
Okay.
I will typically say arc, whatever, because that's just what rolls off easier.
So is this one in degrees?
This is degrees, yes, sorry.
42.07.
And then make sure you put the, like, degree symbol on it so that it does state which one you're doing. Whoa. 16, they write it as cosine to the negative 1, so inverse cosine of negative 0.23. Still degrees.
193.30 degrees.
I don't want to write 0.
It's a rounding thing, that's why I said this.
No, I know. That's why I was like, I'm just not going to write it. All right, radians for the next ones. So switch to radian mode. Inverse tangent of 22.8.
9.53.
And then just put RAD for radians. So that way it's known which thing it is. In general, we say if there's a pi written with it, we don't need to write radians, but if, you know, just because that's kind of understood, but since it doesn't have anything, we need to put radians on it. All right, inverse cosine of negative 0.853. Did I give y'all the restricted domains in your notes? It'll say like the inverse sine of sine is equal to x.
I didn't know because I didn't know we were supposed to take notes. I thought that was all the homework for last night.
Oh. That was from like days ago.
Oh. It's like,
Yeah, I just like asked Virginia for her notes because I thought we were
I'll
gonna
do
do it
this
like
tonight.
yesterday.
Originally, I was going to do it yesterday, but then I was like, no, I'm going to do those other problems.
And that mean prank. Should have saved it for April Fool's Day. Just pulled it out of your pocket and been like, yeah, so I know even though you've been here every day of the week, this is what we did.
You never know. I might have another one up my sleeve in the future.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Just wait till Josh is out one day.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
That day we're gonna have a party. Josh is on.
Y'all actually get to answer. I'm just
Exactly.
Oh,
Just
yeah, well,
kidding.
I let you guys answer sometimes.
Sometimes.
All right, I'm going to write the restricted domains really fast so that you have them, and then we'll do the problems with them on Monday. But basically, it just says the sine of the inverse sine of x is equal to x. Okay, so it's just like when we do inverses in general. If we have two functions and we say that they're inverses of each other, when we plug one into the other, the product at the end is just an x. If we have anything less than an x left, or more than an x left, then it's not an inverse.
Like anything other
So
than
essentially
just-
these are just inverse properties showing that these are true. The cosine of the inverse cosine of x is equal to x. The tangent of the inverse tangent of x is equal to x. And then vice versa. The inverse sine of sine of x is also equal to x. Inverse cosine of cosine of x is equal to x. And inverse tangent of tangent of x is equal to x. So I'm going to go ahead and write problems up to this point in case you want to do them. And again, I don't necessarily care that you do all 1 through 19 odd. This is just kind of like make sure you understand what you're doing. If you get it, you don't need to do them all. But the problems like that we'll start with on Monday is something like this. Okay, so basically we'll be finding the inner part. So we'll be saying, okay, where is tangent equal to 1? And then we'll get that, and then we'll have the sine of that value. And then we'll say, okay, what is the sine of that value? So essentially our answer is going to end up being an xy value for these versus an angle. But if it's flipped, like we'll have one that's like the inverse sine of the cosine of some, angle, then we'll be working the other way and finding the angle out at the end. So anyways, but that's where we'll pick up on Monday. We may also start 4.8 on Monday, TBD. 4.8 is word problems, which you will definitely have some of those, I would think, on the exam. So we'll spend a couple days on that as my plan. I would think probably, I originally was thinking a quiz on Wednesday, but I'm thinking that's not going to be the case now. So probably quiz Friday on 4.4 to 4.8.
With the stuff we went over for the exam,
The trig word problem, like the graphing,
Yeah.
trig graphing problems. Probably not.
Okay.
Just because I'll probably save that and do something later when we do like more of a review with that stuff. But you will have obviously word problems on there because we have trig word problems.
Yeah.
So.